So Tuseno is still kind of a new brand to me. I reviewed a watch from them for the first time a couple months ago, but I was incredibly impressed with what they sent over. And after they did, the brand owner asked me if I wanted to take a look at their dive watch because he said, and I quote, "There's only so much you can do with the sports watch." His implication was that this dive watch was a much better showcase for the brand than the sports watch that they had previously sent over. And given that Windseeker sports watch was not only one of my favorite watches that I've reviewed, but now one of my favorite watches in my entire collection, I was intrigued. So today we'll take a look at the Tuseno Shellback version 2 and see what Tuseno is really capable of. Hey guys, welcome back to Just a Watch. My name's Dave, I live in Japan, and I love to collect affordable watches. Today we're looking at a watch that's maybe a little bit outside of the affordable price range, but not too far, but the level of quality and finishing that goes into this watch, I think easily justifies the price. For around $650, I think this watch easily competes with any watch under $1,000. And not only is it one of the most beautifully finished watches that I've reviewed, it's also a very interesting one with a lot of kind of quirky design features that just fill you with a lot of joy and sense of fun when you have it on the wrist. Tuseno is a Swedish brand that has been around for a number of years now, so they have a pretty proven track record for a micro brand. And having gotten the chance to see some of their new releases, it's clear that they are very experienced and that they really know what they're doing at this point. And particularly when it comes to this Shellback, this is the version 2, so this is something that they have continued to refine. And again, I've been really impressed with this one to take a look at. So let's jump in and take a look at those details. At a glance, I think this watch gives off kind of Rolex or Tudor style vibes. The excellent finishing and interesting balanced design gives off a very luxurious look with a familiar silhouette that really calls to mind these more expensive Swiss dive watches. But this watch is a fraction of the cost of those more expensive options. And when you look a little bit closer, you're going to see a ton of really unique, really cool design accents that set it apart, not just in terms of price, but also in terms of the design of the watch as well. And that's what I think makes this such a great, affordable alternative to those more expensive watches. Not only are you saving a ton of money while still getting an excellently finished watch, you're also getting a more interesting watch in a lot of ways. And because of that, I think this is one of the best micro-brand divers on the market right now. You get a great combination of features, beautiful finishing materials, and an excellent design. At $649, this steps a little bit outside the affordable price range, but not that far out of the affordable price range. And for that amount of money, you're getting something that is noticeably better and more refined than almost anything you're going to find under $500. So I think it easily justifies the price. Specifications are very solid. This is a Swiss-made watch that has the Swiss Sellita SW200 automatic movement inside of it. You get a full 200 meters of water resistance in a pretty slim feeling watch. The overall thickness is 13 millimeters, but that includes a domed sapphire crystal. Without the crystal, it's only about 12 millimeters thick, and that's more what this feels like on the wrist. And combined with a modest 39 millimeter case diameter, this is a very comfortable, very wearable, modest-sized dive watch. In addition, you're getting a ceramic bezel, a bracelet that can be adjusted with screw links, and one that features quick-release spring bars allowing for easy strap changes, and a tool-free micro-adjust clasp. Again, all features that are more commonly found in more expensive Swiss luxury watches. And paired with all of these great features is some of the best finishing I've seen in a sub $1,000 watch. The watch features primarily brushed surfaces, but the brushing is really well done, and it does have polished accents on the corners of the lugs and the edges of the bracelet, with the polished sections having a very clear mirror-like finish and very clearly defined lines between the polished and brushed sections of the case and bracelet. Likewise, the coin-edged bezel and the knurled crown are very well finished, which all combine to give this watch a premium look on the wrist. And up till this point, everything that I've been describing kind of makes this sound like a very serious Swiss dive watch. But this watch has some interesting, almost quirky design choices that I think really make this a fun watch to look at and give it a lot more character than a lot of those more sterile button-down designs. Take the choice of not only going with a sandwich dial, but also deciding to integrate the date into that 6 o'clock marker itself. This is one of the coolest, smoothest, most seamless date integrations that I've seen on a watch. Because in a sandwich dial design, all of the markers are already cut out, sticking the date down inside the 6 o'clock marker makes it almost unnoticeable as being different from the rest of the markers. It's almost magic to see that the date is just displayed on the 6 o'clock marker. And all of the other markers being a combination of circles or rounded rectangles also give the watch a more laid-back vibe. And on the dial itself, there's this cool little Easter egg where you have Shellback written in a kind of smiley-faced shape, which is perfectly haloed by that circular cutout in the custom hour hand as it sweeps around the dial. I love it when brands go out and create their own custom hour hand. Rolex has the Mercedes, Tudor has the Snowflake, and Tuseno has this little hollowed out circle with an arrow pointer at the end of it. This is the black dial option, and that dial is done in a beautiful piano black enamel. And I love this enamel dial. It has a beautiful, deep, inky black to it with a smooth, almost wet look. And it's been paired with some crisp white accents that really set it off well. The white railroad style minute track provides a really cool little halo around the dial. And both the minute and second hands extend all the way to the edge of the dial, making it very easy to read the minutes and seconds against that part. And the bezel follows these design cues perfectly with a polished black ceramic bezel insert with crisp white fully loomed BGW9 marking. All right, now let's take a look at the lume on this watch, and this is one area where I started to run into some issues, and that's due to the fact that this is a pre-production watch, and after checking with Tuseno, they did confirm that the lume on this model does not reflect what they expect the production models to look like, so I won't be putting this watch through my standard lume tests. But even from this prototype, we can see some interesting things about the lume on this watch. For one, it is a very good lume profile. On the black version, you are getting a fully lumed bezel. And I also really like the loomed chapter ring. And I also like how they were able to loom a small frame around that 6 o'clock date. All of these elements look really cool and are very legible after dark, especially with that cool blue glowing BGW9 formulation. But without seeing the full production lume, I can't really comment on how long that lume is going to last. But I did learn some interesting things even from this prototype one, because I did actually run it through my J-score tests initially. And one thing that I found is that the lume on the bezel on this thing is absolutely insane. Like, it is the brightest thing I have ever tested. To put it in perspective, the lume on the bezel glows better than the full lume dial on the Wise Hitman, which is my current lume champion. By contrast, the lume on the dial and the hands faded very quickly, and after an hour was barely visible. But again, that's something that Tuseno said they are going to fix. And in fact, looking at other reviews of this watch where people have gotten other prototypes, it seems like theirs glow a lot better than mine did as well. So there even seems to be some variation from prototype to prototype. So I'm fairly confident that Tuseno will get this worked out by the time the production units are ready. And if they can get the dial and the hands to be anywhere near as bright as they've gotten the bezel, it's going to be something pretty impressive. But like I said, that's one area where we're going to have to wait and see. To wrap this up by taking a look at the bracelet and clasp on this watch, both of which are excellent. The bracelet features a combination of flat and angled surfaces, which really offer a lot of light play and give you a lot of fun little glimpses and flashes of light reflecting at you. And the clasp is very high quality, featuring a milled stainless steel construction and a very smoothly operating dual push-button deployant operation. But the coolest part is that it also features tool-free micro adjust, which means that you can open up the clasp, and by sliding the little lever on the underside, you can lengthen or shorten the bracelet on the fly. I love this feature. Whenever a watch has it, I use it all the time, and it makes me much more inclined to use the bracelet. And I'm glad to see that this is becoming more and more common. I've seen this particular system on a number of watches, so it's losing a little bit of its kind of wow factor, but it's still something I really want to see on every bracelet out there. But with pretty much everything other than the lume on the hands and the markers, I was extremely impressed with this watch. I think it's easily worth the $650 asking price, and you're not going to be disappointed if you purchase it at that price. I think that it's a really good value compared to the other options out there when you consider the level of finishing, the specifications and components used, and the overall design. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up for today. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this watch. It is in pre-order right now, so I know none of you guys have gotten your hands on it yet, but if anybody has any experience with the Shellback V1, that might be relevant to mention in the comments, and let me know what your thoughts on that one was. And if you're excited for the new version that's just come out, always love to get your take as well. If you're interested in getting a watch themed t-shirt or hoodie like this one here, you can check it out on my website at justthewatch.com. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I cover affordable watches, I collect affordable watches, I talk about them. This is what the channel's about. If you like affordable watches, I'm sure you'll like these videos too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.